Welcome to Motherland. Today I have Samantha Fow, the author of Decent Environmental Activism 2.0. Samantha Fow, please introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me on, Asmaa. It's always a pleasure to get to speak with you, and it's even more of an honor to be able to share about, the many things that I advocate for with respect to clean, renewable energy development. My background, as you know, is in environmental law and policy. I have, a law degree and an additional master's in environmental law specifically. And I will tell you, as somebody who has studied and rigorously investigated all of America's federal environmental laws, the unfortunate fact of the matter is they're not really doing what they need to do in terms of protecting our environmental health and safety. So as a result, people are getting sick. People are experiencing chronic health issues.
Right, and I say this to people, like I can tell you, give me 5 things that I can do to lose weight or stay healthy. They can say it, but if I tell you, give me 5 things you can do to save the climate, barely, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where we're trying to get to with this. We are trying to educate people more about climate change impact. It's real, and at some point, certain types of foods is going to be extinct. And so I think it's something that people really need to pay attention to. Samantha, I know you wrote an entire book about decent technology. So what is decent technology?
Decent technology, or decent tech, is my little shorthand for decentralized technology. The truth of the matter is, between the pressing environmental issues that we have that exist on local and global scales, and just the complexity of the technological solutions that exist to this, it's tough to get your mind around, right? It's not very accessible. So my goal with this book is to let everyone know around the world that even though we do suffer from these terrible environmental problems, the solutions to those problems exist in the form of decentralized technology or decent tech.
Fantastic. One company that we have been looking at that has been doing a great deal of work, especially in Africa, is Schneider Electric. And then I wanted you to kind of tell us a little bit about, what you think about their work in Africa and how that is impacting, the whole renewable energy sector.
Yeah, well, I will tell you that one of the most exciting things about the technological growth and innovation that is happening in decent tech is that it's actually really equally allocated between developing countries and developed economies. And so as a result, there's a lot of room for, what's known as leapfrogging, right? We didn't have, just like how we didn't have to run pole and wire infrastructure anymore once we invented cellular technology. And then all of a sudden telecommunications came to the developing world in a very easy and accessible way. The same thing is happening with electrification. You no longer have to build these massive multi-million-dollar power plants and run poles and wires and massive infrastructure. Instead, what a lot of organizations are doing, specifically Schneider Electric with their Valaya microgrid program, is setting up microgrids, right? Instead of a massive national grid, it's just one little small grid that operates on a community scale. It is a combination of clean renewables, whether it's biogas, solar, wind, or some combination of that, as well as sophisticated devices across the Internet of Things, right? The IoT, it's kind of like a fun little tech term that is all collecting data and it's internet connected, right? So this is all happening as the sun shines on the solar panels or as the biogas is combusted, it's creating electricity. But at the same time, the advanced technology that Schneider Electric and other organizations like them have access to and are installing in developing communities around the world, they actually are able to collect data about the supply and the demand of power and increase the performance of the system autonomously. It's very exciting.
Well, what can you tell us? From your book, everybody would, probably want to know, okay, you're covering decentralized technologies, but I guess if you can give us a little bit about the background on why you actually wrote this book.
I wrote this book because I care deeply about the environment. I am I've always been somebody who loves plants and animals and being outside. And so that's really what took me into the direction of environmental law and policy, is just a passionate commitment to, protecting our environment. But what I found once I was there is, as I said, even though these systems exist, we have a large centralized infrastructure that is meant to protect our environment. We have specific policies for, anti-dumping, water pollution, air pollution, all sorts of things. But the fact of the matter is that it's still happening. And so instead of, just allowing myself to spiral into depression over this state of affairs, I decided I was going to look for solutions. And the fact of the matter is that even though our centralized systems have failed us when it comes to environmental protection, our decentralized technologies can make up for that gap. There is an entire world of decentralized green tech out there that does not require that centralized system, that centralized infrastructure that we really look to our national leadership to create. It can all happen distributed, decentralized, and on the local scale.
What is it that's happening immediately? Like, for instance, we discussed extinction of food, right? That to me is crazy. So are you telling me that if we keep going the way we're going, by 2050, we won't have strawberries and chocolate anymore?
It's because certain crops, right? Certain plants, just like think about the plants you have in your house, right? They all require different types of care. They require different temperatures and different humidity levels and different amounts of water. And so when they grow outside, these plants naturally grow in their specific climate that they're suited for. Well, they can't just pick up and leave, right? And so as our climate is changing, some plants that are very sensitive, to drought, to high temperatures, to, the increased CO2 even that we're having in our, the air that we use to breathe. Some plants are just really sensitive to it and they can't adapt. So as a result, we're going to lose them if we continue to change our climate at business as usual.
So you're saying like greenhouses and climate controlled, temperature controlled greenhouses cannot grow these type of crops or plants?
There are many crops that are just unfeasible to grow inside. So, for example, strawberries you can grow inside. Avocados, no. Walnuts, no. Like these are massive trees. And so it would require a degree of infrastructure that would cost so much. I mean, an avocado could cost you $20, right? A single piece of produce, because you have to build something that is able to climate control and hydrate and maintain acres and acres and acres of produce. It's at a scale that is just not practical.
So it was great having you. I do want to touch one more thing before you go. I am a foodie, and everybody knows this about me. So that being said, can you give us one of your great plant-based, no recipes, but anything you like, a specific food that is plant-based that you encourage people to try?
Well, I will tell you that I am, as I mentioned, Asmaa, I am a strict vegetarian. There's all sorts of reasons for that. The environmental impacts of my food choices are positive. I can tell you that for sure. And also, food is fun, right? Like,
right.
Why not be creative and figure out some yummy vegetarian dishes? I can tell you, I've been a vegetarian for many years, and I eat well. One of my favorites is just a quick and easy veggie curry, right? You just like I like to make it with the produce, right on the day where it's kind of on the edge. Like, oh no, what am I doing with all this produce? But like, I certainly can't landfill it, right? 30% of the landfills in the United States right now are full of food, right? 30%. It's an issue. So in order to keep my produce out of the landfill, I have all these little recipes that I like to use, like right when it's like on the edge, and I really enjoy making just like a nice spicy red curry, slice up the vegetables, saute in some ghee, and then, coconut milk curry. It's amazing.
That sounds very delicious right now. It's lunchtime for me, so I'm pretty hungry. I'm going to try that out. But yeah, it was great having you here in Motherland. I'm going to definitely share information about your book and how people can contact you and connect with you. And, thank you guys for joining us today. We will be coming more and more and more every other week or so, showing you episodes with Samantha Fow. Again, she is the author of Decent Environmental Activism 2.0, also called Be Decent with Decent Tech, right? So thanks, Samantha. I mean, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Asmaa. It's been an honor.